Hi friends, welcome back to your practice. I am Katie Arnold, and today's self-care conversation is all about 10 things to practice to help reduce your stress. So we all know those times when our stress levels are off the chart, right? When it seems like we just kind of can't break out of that cycle of stress. And these practices that we're going to talk about today are things that you can bring into your life. Maybe you're already doing them, but maybe you'll get some new ideas of other things to kind of throw into the mix. So here's how we can reduce our stress. First and foremost, y'all know I'm going to talk about this: yoga and stretching. So moving our bodies. And yoga, as we all know, is so much more than the physical practice itself. And I can't tell you the number of times that I've had students who have told me they would come into my classes because they wanted the workout of yoga. They wanted to come to hot yoga and sweat it out. And what kept them coming back was that feeling at the end of class where they just felt more at peace, they felt calmer, and I totally get it. That hooked me into yoga too. I showed up for the physical practice. I showed up because people suggested it for stress reduction, but I didn't necessarily think that's what would come out of it. And what kept me coming back was the way that I felt at the end. So I know when I'm super stressed out, I need to show up on my mat. And that might not be a vinyasa flow class, but sometimes it just means throwing my legs up the wall for 15 minutes and just letting my body decompress. The second one is time in nature. Get outside. If you can get outside and you can take off your socks and shoes and let your feet actually touch the earth has this beautiful energy to just reground us. So sometimes when I let my dog out, either first thing in the morning or right before bed, I'll follow him out and I'll just let my bare feet touch the ground beneath us. And I let it reground me. It's such a beautiful way to reduce your stress. That could mean going for a hike. It could mean if you're someone who likes to go on a boat, maybe you go sit on a boat in the middle of the lake and decompress. I don't care what kind of nature resonates with you. Go for it. So I'm someone who is called to the mountains. I want to get outside. I want to go hiking. And that calls me more than maybe sitting on a boat. But for you, maybe it's the water that calls you. So whatever nature kind of is calling you, get out there and at the very least, stand in the grass, shoes off, and just reground your energy. Next one, we all know I'm going to say this: sleep. Sleep is one of the best ways to allow yourself to reduce your stress. Chances are you're stressed and maybe you're not sleeping as well. Or maybe you're stressed because you're working all these extra hours at your job and your sleep is taking a toll. You're not getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night. So try to find some time for extra sleep. Maybe that means trying to go to bed a little bit early. Maybe that means sleeping in a little bit on the weekends, or if you can, taking a nap in the middle of the day. I'm someone who has spent most of my life dismissing naps. I hated them. I felt like if I took a nap, I didn't sleep at night, so I didn't take naps. And if you've been following my story for this last year, I've had chronic fatigue syndrome because of toxic mold exposure and autoimmune disease. And my body has just been so tired. And sometimes the only way to get through the day would be a 20-minute nap. And so I am now a huge proponent of naps. If you're feeling tired, take a 20-minute nap, take a break, take a nap, let your body rest and let your body sleep. And it's just gonna do wonders for you. Next up is eating nutritious foods. So fueling your body with the right foods helps us deal and manage with that stress later. So it might seem kind of obvious, or maybe it seems a little strange. This might seem like a strange one to you. You might want to reduce your stress by going and grabbing your favorite frozen custard, and I wouldn't blame you. There is a time, there is a place, but the rest of the time, can you eat the foods that really nourish your body, mind, and soul, and notice how that helps your stress? Next up, do something fun. You guys, I don't care what is fun for you. Do it. Bring it into your life a little bit more. Especially as adults, I feel like we kind of start to poo-poo on like this idea of having fun. We like leave it behind for instead doing all this kind of work. And that's fine, but how can you have fun? If that's a dance party in your kitchen, do it. If that's a jigsaw puzzle, do it. Whatever it is that you find fun, how can you bring in more fun into your life and notice the way that it helps reduce your stress? Now, the next one I did kind of talk about when we talked about yoga, but exercise. There is a caveat to this one, but move your body. You can go out for a walk, you can do a strength training workout, go for a run, get in a stationary bike ride on your Peloton. Whatever it is, how can you move your body? But here's the caveat. The caveat is that exercise, as good as it is for us, is also a stressor on the body. So can you recognize if you're in a season of stress that exercise needs to look a little bit different? So I've talked about my chronic fatigue syndrome, right? So I had a good couple of months where I couldn't work out. I've barely run in the last year because it is still too much intensity for my body, but I walk as much as I can. I take my dog for 2 to 3 walks a day. My yoga changed from vinyasa and flow styles to mostly yin and restorative. So recognizing, is your body in such a state of stress that the physical activity needs to be lower impact, and doing that. And if you're in a place that high impact or higher impact is supporting your body, go for it. But how can you move your body in a really nourishing way? Now, I've talked about essential oils, so this one shouldn't come as any surprise to you guys, but aromatherapy. I love essential oils. I love diffusing them when I'm trying to focus at work, if I am trying to feel inspired and do some writing, if I'm trying to relax at the end of a long day. I might light a candle or diffuse some essential oils, and it's just so calming. And so I highly suggest you find some essential oils, some scents that you like, obviously really calming. You can think of lavender. I love lavender. I use doTERRA essential oils for the most part, and they have a blend called Adaptive that is super calming, especially if I'm feeling really anxious along with that stressed out. Adaptive is like this perfect oil for that. So find the essential oils that just make you feel calm and diffuse those. And next is journaling. Now, I will give a nice reminder that at the link below, you can find my free download for journal prompts when you're stressed out. Journal. I highly encourage you to put pen to paper. Get those feelings out on paper. Get them on the table. Get them off your back. And sometimes just writing them out, you'll already feel so much lighter. So journal those feelings. You can free write. You can use the prompts that are in that free download. Again, the link is below. And let yourself work through those emotions. Next up, set boundaries. Now, this is something that we don't necessarily think of as a self-care practice. I believe I've talked about that before. You might not even think about it in terms of stress reduction, but set boundaries. Know when to say no. And, kind of an example that I can think of is if you have a whole bunch of things on your plate, you're feeling super stressed out, a lot of commitments, and then a friend calls and asks you for a favor or asks you to go to a party with them. And in the moment, all you can think of is, oh my gosh, I can't take one more thing on. I'm so stressed out, but I don't want to say no to my friend. How do I do this? That's a beautiful opportunity to set a boundary, to tell your friend, you know, can you find somebody else to go with you this time? I have so much on my plate right now. I'm feeling really stressed out. I would love to support you, but I can't this time. Setting that boundary, explaining to people, or just simply saying no. As we know, no is a complete sentence. So set those boundaries for yourself with friends, with family, and with yourself as well. And notice how that helps your stress levels overall. Lastly, breathing, deep breathing. Now, I have a few videos on my channel for breathwork practices. Members in the studio, you have a couple extras. So if you're not a member of the studio, here's just a quick little plug, link below if you want more information on joining Studio Connection. But deep breathing and pranayama or breath control practices are so great for reducing stress. They help the body calm back down. Even if I am in a stressed out state, if my full-time job is a little too much that week, a little too much that day, everybody is blowing up my phone, I can't get anything done, I will just take a moment, ground myself down, take a big breath in through the nose, and a big sigh out of an open mouth. And I just notice that one cleansing breath can change everything. So I highly encourage you, when you're feeling stressed out, if you don't have the time to go through another breathwork practice, can you take one big cleansing breath and watch your energy come back down? Those are my 10 stress reducing activities for you to try. Please let me know in the comments what you're gonna try first. What is the next one that you're gonna try? Are you doing any of these now to help your stress? So friends, thank you so much for joining me. Like this video, like I said, comment below. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. It helps these self-care conversations, our guided meditations, our yoga classes get in front of more people to help everyone reduce their stress, their overwhelm, their burnout, and so we can all come back home to ourselves together. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.